Footy is short for footage.
Footy isn't a skate term. Where I live, it means this. If you live in the UK, it means this. I've never heard anyone call footage footy. I even Googled it just to make sure.
Okay, and then live action, footage.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite human, Jake here. And today I will actually be talking about the real reasons why skate is bad. I've been watching a lot of videos just because I've been lurking, kind of been working on some stuff in the background just so that I can start getting into the habit of making videos again. But I wanted to start out with this one, but the scope was way too fucking big. So I'm going to make a really short, condensed, make sure that it's coming from real skate fans. If you want to know my history, I play skateboarding games like all the fucking time. I'm obsessed with skating. I've been kind of falling off of it within the past couple years when it comes to the skate culture. However, I've been playing since I was like fucking 7, and I've been skateboarding for a while. Not that good, but whatever. I'm also like 320, so I haven't been on the board in a while, but whatever. I'm going to start off with the things that skate actually does really well. So one of the biggest things that no one ever gives skate credit is that the music is actually really good in this game. Plenty of really big artists, so stuff like Denzel Curry and Sunny Day Real Estate. Just the general vibes are pretty good. Another thing that I noticed is that the gameplay is just fantastic. Way better than like something like Skate 3. I have a love for Skate 3, Skate 2, Skate 1. However, I think it does it the best, and I actually like the climbing mechanic as well. I think that the open world aspect of the game is actually really neat. I think it works great with the multiplayer, but I'll get into my gripes with that a little bit later. The idea of prop placing with your friends and like just in an open environment is great. I've had so many times where I'm like walking by someone and I see that they put a thing down and I'm just skating the spot with them that they made. One thing that it also does really well is that it serves plenty of play styles really well. I'm more of a realistic kind of skater when it comes to these games. However, they do trick lining, they do stunts, they do kind of like the Zexy Zek kind of thing. You just fly and do challenges or whatever. It's just great. It's overall just really good for all the play styles, and I think that the bails look pretty good. And also they fixed the shoves because I didn't like the shoves in Skate 3. I think the shoves look fantastic in this game. Now, before I get into why the game's bad and all that, I'm actually going to tell you what's been missing from the game that we've seen in previous titles. One of my biggest gripes with what's missing is that there's no real pro skaters unless you count Shingo, but he's not even a skater, and he's like race swapped with like Sean Malto's voice. So it was just kind of weird. Another thing that is also kind of weird and it's missing is that there's no real park building. I'm such a fan of recreations and just really good maps. In the previous games, at least in Skate 3, you can make your own custom maps, and with the introduction of community maps, I thought we were gonna have that, but from what I know, I didn't Google it, I'm not like this guy. From what I know, you can't actually make your own maps for the community map. It's like pre-made by the dev. So I thought that was kind of weird. I wish there was like a custom mode where you can go and find maps or whatever, but that's besides the point. They are gonna update this, but real camera keyframe controls, the replay editor is just not really up to par, as well as stuff with the camera replay that's just not good, and they're gonna update it, but I don't even think if it's updated it'll get to that level. And also just missing tricks. I mean, under flips, dark slides, those are like the main things that a lot of people they miss, and I don't really care, but I wish I could do a dark slide here and there just for funsies, but it's whatever. So now I'm actually going to get into why I think skate is overall bad and just the stuff that it does really poorly, and then I'll try to condense it, but there's a lot of points, so I'm going to try to rattle them off as fast as I can. So first thing, barely any brands that you can actually equip your character unless you spend real money. I'm not spending money on a free game, especially since there's no content. I'm not doing that. Also, daily challenges are the exact same. I mean, they have like a cycle of like maybe 3 challenges in a certain area, but I've been playing this game for the past like month straight, and every single day I log in, I do dailies, and it feels so demoralizing when I have to fucking triple flip a fucking gap and I land and I die, or like I try to do like a manual double flip with a 360 and then it's not enough points and they have to hit back. And there's even some challenges that are just actually soft lock, like you will do the challenges and then they just won't work. Terrible. As I mentioned before, there's barely any content. I mean, besides, you know, these different parts of the map, there's just the same challenges you do over and over, besides the ones that are stapled into like the campaign or whatever. But other than that, there's nothing really dynamic about what it is. I know they claim themselves as early access. However, I've been waiting for a skate game for, I think it's been 15 years or something since Skate 3. I feel like at this point, it's just been really bad, and I'm just wondering if all the funding was actually just thrown in the pockets of the big wigs or something like that. The original build of the game, or like an early access build, was actually leaked online, and I got to play that early as well. And there's a whole other map, they're like downhill slopes, and the fact that that's not even in the game, when I thought those were like one of the best parts, even though they weren't textured at the time, that showed a really cool part of the game. But now I feel like I'm just like, I'm going downtown. It just feels like downtown everywhere, and I just wish that there was more like hills or buildings or suburbs or something. Even though Skate labels itself as early access, it's so crazy to see that it still urges you to spend money, especially since it came out before it was publicly released. There was already a microtransaction system during the beta. I think the push for this is all just making Skate a cash grab, and I think that the game is gonna die at some point, and it's really sad. I also wanted to make this kind of video when the event came around, because we never really seen like an event yet, and I will say this event is pathetic. I have 4 currencies in my game now, and some of it is just for stuff that I don't even necessarily want, and only 1 out of the 3 parks were actually really good, and it just seems to me that this is just what it is. A lot of people claim that they don't have Hall of Meat in this game. I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, they probably think of either the Skate 2 where you crash into something and you see a broken bone on an x-ray machine, or in Skate 3 where there's Hall of Meat challenges where you crash into stuff and you see your bones broken or whatever. But Stunts have definitely taken that and have kind of remade that whole thing, except they took the best parts out. Stunt challenges are definitely the ones I hate the most. I never do the daily ones. There's no point to them besides your character kind of just ragdolling, and that's it. At least in Skate 3, you got to see your bones break, and there was like, you could roll and then jump out of them, and it felt more fun than what we currently have for stunt challenges. And also, the art design of the characters is pretty bad. People call it the Fortnite effect. I don't really think so. It gives kind of like AI zoomies culture. Like, it's just very weird. I don't really like it. People are always like, oh, why won't they go back to grunge? And I understand that they want to kind of encompass all of skateboarding, but if you've seen skateboarding culture within the past couple of years, it's kind of been this commercial thing. Besides like a lot of these underground quote unquote skateboard companies, there's a lot of it is just like pure like X Games content fill. It's just very safe and clean, and there hasn't been grit in skateboarding for a while. So I just think that that's why we kind of got what we got. There's barely any customization for the character appearance. The loot boxes literally give you nothing. It like, you get stuff that you would find in like thrift store, Goodwill, like hand-me-downs. It's not good. It's not really that great. There's just not enough complexity, and as I will show you on screen, this is literally everything they get from the loot boxes. I played the game so much, I unlocked everything in the loot boxes, and this is exactly what you get, and it's not much. I kind of want to just make this video because I can give you the understanding from someone that played the games constantly. I made edits on skateboarding and YouTube and stuff, and I have the knowledge of these games in the past, so that's why I'm bringing it to you. Here is where EA could actually use a little bit of work and maybe bring this out of the hole, because we're never going to get an offline mode. It's literally dead. Black pill yourself. What the Skate game could use is probably like a day and night cycle. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like Animal Crossing where it tracks your real day and night. However, I think that just having that little bit of experience would be cool. I mean, we had the sanatorium in Skate 3 where it was nighttime, and we had different times of day depending on what maps you were in. Adding pro skaters to the game, I mean, there's plenty of people in skate culture now, you know, regardless if I like them or I don't like them, that you can add to this game that can genuinely bring kind of character to the scene. This game really feels soulless because there's nobody in it. One that I think that might actually happen is that they might change the art style, but just changing the art style doesn't mean that something immediately gets better, and some of the best games have the worst art style. I'm looking at you, Grand Theft Auto 5. And in general, we just need like a variety in the map, or some sort of way, like I said before, to have custom maps. I talked about how there was a section of the map that was completely missing, or it's on the other side of the bridge, but there's just not a whole variety to these maps besides the events that come and go. The same thing, it's either like a ledge, or it's this, or it's stuff that just kind of seems ridiculous coming from like a realistic skateboarding standard, but it's also just not a lot of variety. But I think EA knew that, and I think that its intention with coming into this game was purely monetary, and that's ultimately what this is. I don't think that anything's necessarily going to get better, and at some point I feel like this game is going to get canceled. That's just kind of how it is. It'll just be another live service that failed, and now people rejoice and say, oh, but remember when the gameplay was good, or oh, remember when this happened and now it's gone, and people are going to be scared, and oh, I have PT on my PS4 still. But ultimately, if you like the game, if it feels fun, then play it. Don't give EA the money. Don't buy the battle pass. Don't do any of this until they really answer to the fans, because that's ultimately what it's about. Just another white guy giving you a video essay about something that really doesn't matter. But anyways, it's been fun. If there's anything that you think I missed or I completely ultimately misrepresented, please leave a comment down below. I will be making more videos in the future. Probably not about this because this shit sucks. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Jake, and I'll see you later.
Footy is short for footage.
That fucking bird that I hate.